Growing up, I was always the heavier kid in the room. From my earliest days in kindergarten, my size set me apart from my peers. While other children were discovering their unique traits, my weight defined me. By the time I reached high school, I was undeniably overweight, my body a constant marker of my differences. College didn't bring much change. As my classmates explored new sides of themselves, I remained tethered to the same identity, the heavy, sometimes struggling student. Being the bigger person wasn't easy. It invited relentless teasing, cruel remarks, and judgment from those who never bothered to know me. The bullying I endured is something I'd rather not dwell on, but it was constant. Classmates mocked me with nicknames and jabs, their words chipping away at my confidence, leaving me with deep insecurities that felt impossible to shake. I was often the target of their jokes, excluded from games, social events, and friendships. It was as if I was always on the sidelines, watching others live the typical teenage experience from a distance I couldn't cross. Those years shaped how I saw myself and interacted with the world. Feeling out of place, I turned to books for comfort. Stories became my refuge, a place where I wasn't judged or ridiculed. I earned the label of nerd, which I didn't entirely embrace. My younger sister, Leela, was my opposite in every way. Just a year younger, she radiated charm and confidence. Leela thrived in social settings, while I was quiet and reserved. She had a magnetic personality, able to light up any room and make everyone adore her. She didn't just make friends. She seemed to effortlessly draw people into her orbit. Despite our differences, I loved her deeply. As her older sister, I felt a strong duty to protect her, and when she joined me in high school, I was thrilled at first, proud to be her sibling. But as Leela carved out her own identity in high school, things shifted. She became part of the popular crowd, while I remained the introverted, bookish one. She started to notice my quirks and struggles, which made me seem uncool in her eyes. Slowly, she began to pull away from me, avoiding me in the hallways. It stung to feel like my own sister saw me as less than. I tried to respect her need for space, but it hurt to lose not just my sister, but also a friend. Over time, Leela's distance turned into something worse. She and her friends began targeting me, mocking me in front of others or tripping me as I carried my lunch tray, just to get a laugh. It felt like betrayal, especially from someone I admired so much. At home, things weren't much better. When Leela invited her friends over, they'd barge into my room, laughing at my appearance and hurling insults like dork or chubby. I felt like an exhibit, their entertainment for the day. I tried talking to my parents about Leela's behavior, hoping they'd see how much it hurt, but they brushed it off. They'd smile and say it was just sibling teasing, urging me to lighten up and be more resilient as the older sister. It left me feeling alone, as if no one in my family understood the pain I was carrying. The only time my parents seemed to notice me was when I excelled academically. Schoolwork came naturally to me, and my high grades were a source of pride. It was the one area where I felt I could outshine others, the one thing my parents valued. They loved boasting about my achievements to relatives and friends, as if my success reflected their parenting. But Leela resented the comparisons. She wasn't as focused on academics, and my parents' constant praise of my grades made her feel inadequate. I could sense her frustration, which likely fueled her actions against me. Sometimes she'd sneak into my room at night and steal my assignments, especially before major deadlines. I'd wake up in a panic, searching for my work, while she watched from the doorway, smirking at my distress. Years later, she admitted to it during a drunken confession, revealing how she enjoyed disrupting my one source of pride. Over time, my relationship with Leela softened, but we never grew truly close. After college, I moved to a new city, started a fulfilling career, and saw my family less often. Our contact dwindled to occasional calls or texts. So, when I planned a summer visit home last year, I was genuinely excited to reconnect. But the family lunch didn't go as I'd hoped. At first, the reunion felt warm and nostalgic. Then Leela dropped a bombshell. She was engaged. None of us expected it, and I was thrilled for her, complimenting her stunning ring. But the mood shifted when Leela turned to me, asking about my life. I shared updates about my job and how content I was, but before I could finish, she interrupted with a smirk. "If your life's so great, why are you still so heavy?" she said, laughing. Her words hit hard, dragging up old wounds. The room went quiet, everyone's eyes on me, waiting for my reaction. I forced a smile and tried to brush it off, but then my parents chimed in, criticizing my weight and single status, expressing worry that I'd never settle down or have kids. Their words cut deeper than I expected. I'd spent years building confidence and independence, yet in that moment, I felt like the insecure teenager I used to be, craving their approval. They praised Leela for getting engaged before me, as if I was the disappointing child. Successful, but not enough. Leela kept pushing, mocking my lack of a partner and questioning when I'd finally find someone. My parents joined in, saying I was wasting my life on work while Leela, the younger sibling, was moving forward. I tried to explain that I was happy with my career and independence, but they dismissed it. My mother scoffed, saying, "What's the point of all that success if you're alone?" It was as if my happiness didn't count unless it fit their mold. Leela's final jab came when she said, "I hope you at least bring a date to my wedding. I don't want people thinking my sister's some lonely old maid while I'm getting married." My parents added that with the wedding a year away, I should at least lose weight to look presentable. Leela agreed, casually saying, "Yeah, drop a few pounds, it'll help you find someone." I was stunned, humiliated by their callousness. Did they think my weight made me less human? I dated people who accepted me as I was, but my family acted like my size was a barrier to love. I wanted to fight back, but I felt paralyzed, the pain pulling me back to those high school days. So I let the conversation move on, bottling up my hurt. Back home, I threw myself into weight loss with a determination I didn't know I had. It started as a way to prove them wrong, but it became deeply personal. I joined a gym, followed a strict diet, and worked with a trainer who'd been through her own transformation. She tailored a plan for me, offering support and reminding me to be kind to myself. For the first time, things clicked. The pounds dropped steadily, and I felt lighter in every sense. My confidence soared. People treated me differently, strangers were kinder, colleagues more respectful. It was a strange kind of validation I'd never experienced. I revamped my wardrobe, choosing bold, stylish clothes I'd never dared to wear before. I even got a dramatic hair makeover, switching to a vibrant blonde that suited me perfectly. Looking in the mirror, I barely recognized myself, not just because of the weight loss, but because of the confidence I'd gained. I was proud of my journey, not just for the physical change, but for the self-assurance I'd built. With Leela's wedding 2 weeks away, my family invited me for lunch to finalize plans. But I hesitated. I didn't want to face their judgment again, especially now that I felt so good about myself. I considered skipping the wedding altogether, knowing they'd be furious and lecture me about family loyalty. But part of me wondered, would they finally see me differently? Update 1, your responses have been incredible. I'm touched by the support and even laughed at some of your bold suggestions to show up and steal the spotlight. Growing up heavy took a toll on my self-esteem, leaving me with doubts I couldn't shake. But your words have shifted my perspective, helping me feel more confident than ever. I'm seriously considering attending the lunch and surprising them. They haven't seen me in ages, and since I'm not on social media, they have no clue about my transformation. I'm curious to see their reactions. Update 2, buckle up because this lunch was a wild ride. I flew home, expecting my family to be proud of my transformation, especially since they'd pushed me to change. I thought they'd celebrate my effort. When I walked into my parents' house, their jaws hit the floor. They barely recognized me, stumbling over their words and showering me with compliments. It felt good until Leela arrived. She didn't notice me at first, brushing past me like she always did. But when I stood to greet her, her eyes widened in shock. She let out a forced laugh, then poked my stomach as if checking if the weight loss was real. My parents laughed, saying they'd been just as stunned. Over lunch, they peppered me with questions about how I'd done it, marveling at my new look. Leela, though, seemed off. She said, "When I told you to lose weight, I didn't expect you to look this good. I didn't know you had such sharp cheekbones." I smiled and replied, "I've always been beautiful, Leela. Losing weight just highlighted it." But then she crossed a line, asking if I'd had surgery because there's no way you look this good naturally. I was furious. After all my hard work, she assumed I'd cheated my way to this. I looked her in the eye and said, "It's sad you think so little of me, Leela. No surgery, just effort and self-respect. You should try it." Her face soured, but I didn't care. It felt liberating to stand up for myself. Then my parents made it worse. My mom said, "Don't take it personally, but you look even prettier than Leela now, and she's the bride." Leela's anger was palpable. Then Mom suggested I dye my hair back to its natural brown because the blonde made me stand out too much. My dad agreed, saying, "Leela's always been the blonde in the family. Go back to your old look." I was floored. My stylist had chosen blonde to complement my features, not to compete with Leela. Why were they so threatened by my change? I pushed back. "What's wrong with you all? Why can't I be blonde? Does Leela own the color? It's my choice, and it has nothing to do with her wedding. My mom accused me of trying to upstage Leela, and Leela added, "You're already going to stand out with your weight loss, so why take my hair color too?" My dad called me difficult, saying I should be more considerate as her sister. I'd had enough. "I'm done," I said, my voice steady. "You're all so wrapped up in your own issues that you can't handle me being happy. I've always been enough, but you never saw it. Even now, after all my work, I'm still not good enough for you." I wasn't holding back anymore. "Mom, your sagging skin and crooked smile bother me. Dad, you're bald. Why critique my hair? And Leela, don't ever talk down to me again. I've always been the better-looking one, and now, with your chubby arms, you're the heavier sibling." Leela looked like she might cry. I raised my glass, took a final sip, and walked out, leaving them speechless. I'd said what I needed to, and I had no regrets. They'd spent years tearing me down, and they deserved to hear the truth. I flew home and skipped Leela's wedding. Instead, I treated myself to a luxurious staycation at a five-star resort. It was pure bliss, spa treatments, my favorite shows, and exploring new spots in my city. I've blocked my family's numbers, tired of their toxicity. Right now, I'm focusing on myself, and I've never felt better.